And we are live. Yes, I think we are. Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We had a nice little summer break. We just realized the last live stream was about 2.5 months ago or something. Yeah, let's see if we can get back into the rhythm and wait for people to join. I hope everybody had a nice summer. And Lois is busy tweeting.
I'm just telling everyone we're live.
That's good. 11 people joined already. Hello, 11 people. Hi. Laura's here. Hi. I'm just pronouncing it in German. I hope that's fine. Yeah, and we will talk about a very important event today, Olympic qualifying competition preview, aka Chinese Nebelhorn.
And I will start by explaining to those who don't know, who are probably not on formerly known as Twitter, why we're calling it Chinese Nebelhorn. The Olympic qualifying competition used to coincide at the same time as Nebelhorn Trophy, which is part of the Challenger Series and is taking place next weekend. And the ISU wanted to separate the Olympic qualifying competition from Nebelhorn in order to make it specifically focusing on the Olympics and their own sponsors and all of this kind of stuff. But it's such a generic sounding name for the competition. For ages, it was just the Olympic qualifying competition. Then they called it Skate to Milano. And nobody really wanted to call it that, so everyone just started calling it Chinese Nebelhorn.
Thank you for the explanation, because I was about to ask how that came about.
To the point that in my head, because I'm overly online, that I now have to start thinking about actual German Nebelhorn as German Nebelhorn instead of the Chinese Nebelhorn. So that's gone full circle.
I didn't even know. I didn't know the real name until now, because I kept reading Chinese Nebelhorn. I was like, oh, guess that's it.
That's what it's called. Even Mark Canretti has picked up that we're all calling it Chinese Nebelhorn, and he's doing the commentary for it next week.
Amazing. So yeah, should we get started on the? I know Lois has prepared a very detailed presentation.
I mean, I've been working on it. It's probably not that detailed, but I will explain everything and how it works to people who don't.
Please talk slowly so I can follow, because I need to know as well.
Okay. So there are two ways to get spots for the Olympics. The first way was to qualify spots at the World Championships at the end of last season. The other way is this upcoming competition, which is the Olympic qualifying competition. If you head on to the next slide, these are the graphics I made on Instagram. If you go back down our feed to April, you'll find them. And these were the spots that were earned at Worlds. Probably can't see it very well in here, but like I said, if you go to
if you watch it on TV, it's great.
Really blow it up and you'll find it. So for the men, 3 spots were earned for America, 3 spots for Japan, 2 spots for Italy, 2 spots for Latvia. France earned 2 with the possibility of earning a 3rd at the Olympic qualifying competition. Kazakhstan earned 1 with the possibility of earning a 2nd. Korea and a 2nd, Georgia a 2nd, Switzerland got 1, Canada got 1, Azerbaijan got 1, Slovakia got 1, Sweden got 1, China got 1, Estonia got 1, Spain got 1, and Poland got 1. And so therefore, anyone who could get an extra spot from that list that I mentioned, and any other country that didn't earn a spot at Worlds, can send one of their skaters to the Olympic qualifying competition to try and earn one of the final few places. Similarly for women, 3 spots for America, 3 spots for Japan, 2 spots for Korea, 2 spots for Switzerland, Belgium 1 spot with the possibility of another one, Estonia 1 spot with another one, Canada 1 spot, Italy 1 spot, Kazakhstan 1 spot, France 1 spot, Israel 1 spot, Austria 1 spot, Finland 1 spot, Romania 1 spot, Poland 1 spot, Bulgaria 1 spot, Great Britain 1 spot, and Lithuania 1 spot. On to the next slide.
Wait.
Pairs. America 2 spots with the possibility of earning a 3rd this week. Germany 2 spots. Italy 2 spots. Canada 2 spots. Japan 1 spot with the possibility of earning a 2nd. same with Georgia, same with Hungary, same with Australia, same with Uzbekistan, Great Britain 1 spot, Poland 1 spot, Netherlands 1 spot. Ice dance, 3 for America, 3 for Canada, 2 for Great Britain, 2 for France, 2 for Finland, 2 for the Czech Republic, Italy 1 with the possibility of ending another one, Spain the same, Georgia the same, Germany 1 spot, and Korea 1 spot. Go on to the next slide.
And also, if you have any questions along the way, please put them in the...
Of course, we will do our best to answer them.
I have
These
a
are the spots
question.
available.
Oh, Anna has a question.
Yes, Anna has a question.
Alrighty, sorry. And so the skaters that are being sent to Chinese Nebelhorn, if they have to be a different skater than was at
Yes.
Worlds and qualified spots
Yes.
there. Okay.
Unless you didn't make the free skate, then you can send them again. But anyone who made the free cannot go again. So the spots available this upcoming week, there are 5 for each of the singles disciplines. So 5 for men and 5 for women, 3 for pairs, 4 for ice dance. However,
Oh my God.
the asterisk, no, go keep on there. The asterisk is because Finland have 2 spots for ice dance. Currently, the second ice dance team, Orihara Pirinen, Orihara does not have citizenship. There is still a slight possibility that she may get it. If she passes the language test, they're going to do their best. If they cannot get that through, they will have to give up the spot. So another one will become available from this competition, so it'll be 5. 3 for pairs, asterisk. The Uzbekistan pairs team have disappeared from the radar. There has been no official announcement. They've withdrawn from both of their Grand Prix assignments. There are rumors circulating that they may have split up, that they may be trying out with new partners. Not quite sure what's going on. There's been no official announcement either way. If there is no Uzbekistan pair team by the deadline, they will have to give up that spot and another one will become available. If, like, say, there's a new pair, if they go out, get minimums, they have citizenship, then they can go in that place. But there was only 1 team to begin with. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, they are not sending a team to get a second spot this week, even though they obviously had that option. But yeah, there was only 1 team to begin with, and they may have split up. We're not quite sure.
And how long can they wait to do that? Like, what is the cutoff after which they have to give up the spot and it would become available to the next country down the list? Like, I'm wondering how close to the Olympics we could still be in doubt about which countries get to
go. Is towards the end of January. And that is when the final, it's very close. And that is when the final reallocation will take place. I guess you could revoke it at any point, but that's why when the article came out about Orihara Pirinen, and originally it sounded like they were giving up the spot. They then came back to us and said, we're not giving up the spot yet.
Yeah.
They're going to hold as long as possible to see if they can make something happen, and then if they can't, then they'll give it up.
So we won't know even after this competition?
No, we'll know the 5 men, the 5 women, the 3 pairs, the 4 ice dance. But there may be more available. I didn't put an asterisk for men. There's also the possibility with Latvia, Vidar Kulic doesn't have citizenship. For Latvia, there are 2 Latvian men's spots. There are junior men. There is at least 1, I think there's 1 or 2 who are senior age eligible, but they do not have the minimum score required at this point. They may get it. So I didn't bother putting that down because there are possibilities still for that country, but the other ones are a little bit more. It sounds like they may have to give it up. So yeah.
I love this lecture.
I'm doing the best I can with the knowledge I have.
No, it's incredible.
I think we can probably move on now to explain the next part, which was the individual neutral athletes. Unlike every other discipline who is going to earn a spot for their country, the athletes who have been granted individual neutral athlete status have to earn the spot for themselves. There was a possibility of a reserve going into this competition if they had to be switched before this competition. But once they appear at this competition, that athlete is locked in. If they get injured, there's no replacing them. If they get removed, there's no replacing them. Like if they broke any rules that they had to stick to, that's it. That country's done. So the ICU granted permission because the IOC wanted to allow Belarus and Russia back in a neutral capacity. Obviously, Russia and Belarus have been banned by the ISU since the war started. So they are allowed to compete as neutrals. They had to go through a screening process to ensure that they had not supported the war. That's why there were no pairs or ice dance that cleared from the ones that were submitted. So there is just a man and a woman from each of Belarus and Russia. There was a Belarusian ice dance team that cleared, but they pulled out of the competition. I don't know why. So it's just singles.
Next slide.
Yeah.
We don't
And
have
we
any further questions so far.
If no one has any further questions, we're on to the athletes who are going to be at the qualifying competition. And this is all of the men.
Oh.
There are a lot of them.
So yeah, I think the idea of the live stream was to talk about who is most likely to get spots.
To get the spots that are available, yes.
Who should you watch out for? And
unless something very, very dramatic happens, Petra Gomenik from Russia will be getting a spot. I have like statistics on my phone. In that his best score over this season and last is 314 points 54. Obviously, there is Russian inflation because it's all domestic, but that is about 75 points ahead of anyone else. It's kind of a foregone conclusion.
Okay.
He's currently, I think, doing a free skate layout with 4 or 5 quads. It's kind of extreme. Although I've heard apparently there's been a lot of negative reception to the programs he's doing. I haven't been following Russian competitions since they were banned. So I can't tell you what they look like because I haven't watched them.
I'm taking notes for the next live stream.
What I did find interesting when I was looking into it today is that Pozanov from Belarus has actually been scoring fairly well. Obviously, again, his scores are national bias, and I don't think he's going to get necessarily that good PCS competing internationally because the judges like to score people based on who they know and what they've seen, and they haven't seen him for several years. I think his best score was about 245, but he was also hitting like occasionally like 160s and 180s, so extremely inconsistent. I think he only has a quad and a triple axel, like a quad toe. I don't think there's anything more there. But he could be one of the ones. I wouldn't put a bet on it.
So that's 1 out of 5.
Well, 2.
Hi, Johnny. We only started with.
Don't worry. You've only missed all of my explanation about the competition.
So if you need the explanation, just watch it later. But
I will say Francois Pitot has fairly consistent scores. I mean, I think they started fairly low last season, but he is getting up to like the 230s now. And I think most of the skaters we'll be seeing in the men will probably fall around the 200 to 220 mark. So I think he could be definitely getting the 3rd spot for France. And I think he is the better choice between him and Luke Economides, because Luke doesn't really have a consistent quad toe. He rarely ever tries it. So yeah, I think Pitot was the better choice for France.
Sarah is asking, who do you think is a dark horse to get a men's spot?
A dark horse is interesting. I mean, Kirill Marsak just did a fairly good competition at Lombardia, and he's going straight from there to the Olympic qualifying competition. He got like a 223, which is definitely in contention if he can deliver the same similar skates to we did this weekend. I don't think I necessarily had him penciled in as somebody who was necessarily going to be really fighting for the spot, but he is now, in my opinion.
I had on my, likely list that with we like to say that the men are the most volatile, the men can be men. So it's sort of hard to know with anyone, but I feel like with a clean skate, Donovan or Hyungyum Kim, so Donovan Carrillo from Mexico or Hyungyum Kim from Korea, feel like people who have the potential to be at the top of that list.
Yeah, Hyungyum is fairly consistent, like around the two teens, 220s. All he has to do is be consistent, and he's like definitely got a shot.
I personally would love to see Donovan go. It would feel like a hard thing when he has improved so much since he went to the Olympics before, if he wasn't able to go back now.
Yeah, I agree. Gartung is kind of a dark horse because he hasn't competed as a senior yet. He's only done junior. He was obviously the best choice to send for Germany because he does have the quads and it doesn't necessarily have the PCS score yet.
Yeah.
But all he needs is to like land all of his technical content, and he's literally there. Because not many people are going to show up with quad lutzes, triple toes. It's it's an advantage. Tamir is an interesting one because obviously there was a three-way kind of like battle between the Israeli men at Cranberry, and Tamir won that. And then I think that they went to a couple of American domestics, and I think Gorodnitsky beat him quite handily at one of them, and then Tamir did a really strong skate at another one, which I think came in at like 234. I think he had several quads. I can't remember the protocol, but it might have been 3 or 4. My cat's here if you can hear her meowing. And obviously she's been outside because she's wet. But yeah, it depends on if the men are menning. If the stress gets to them, it's a competition with a lot of weight behind it. So yeah.
I love that you already got into the men are menning. It's first live stream of the season.
It's the men. David Luton-Brain is really interesting because he did just land his triple axel for the first time at French Masters, but then he had a fairly inconsistent free skate. He does have the PCS if he skates clean. Like I think he got an 81 at French Masters in the short, which is very competitive. In general, his scores are not that competitive. They would, like last season, they would usually be in the 190s maybe. But if he landed the triple axel twice, definitely possible.
There was a lot now.
Yes, she meowed as she jumped onto the chair. She's annoyed because she's wet.
She approves.
It's raining. Edward Appleby is extremely interesting because we have not seen him this season. So I can't tell you at all how he's been doing. Which I don't know if that's concerning or not, because he obviously didn't show up to like Robin Cousins Cup or domestic or anything. So I have no idea where he's at. But for my sake, I really would love Great Britain to qualify in all disciplines.
So somebody is asking whether we are... Oh no, that was the other one. Are you going to talk about Lombardia?
That is not the point of what we're doing today. We can have maybe a little talk about it afterwards, or anything that's relevant from the skaters who were there who are going. I didn't get to see all of Lombardia because I was busy preparing for this.
Same. I've watched the women and like 3 of the pairs, and I'm planning to catch up this evening after I get finished here, which is the trouble of this is my one weekend that is free between ending one job and starting another. So it's been a little bit of a real life getting in the way of watching as much skating as I wanted to this weekend.
But I'm sure we can get something in between.
Yeah. One of the things I was thinking about looking at this list was which of these are skaters that fell just below the short program cutoff at Worlds, which is not really a fair judgment on which skaters are going to get these spots, because you've got people who were not at Worlds who are competing for them, of course. But looking at that, it would put Hyungyum and Donovan and Ed all pretty high up on that list. And then the other skater that I was thinking about that, kind of slides into there as well, that we haven't talked about as much, and I don't know whether you think that he would have much of a chance here, but Yoo Sung Lee.
I love him. It will be interesting. He obviously came second to Hyungyum at Asian Open Trophy. I think he did get a little bit injured in practice there, so I think his score was a little bit lower than it usually would be. I think it would be like, I think it was in like the 190s. He can score over 200. I don't know about with some of what the other skaters are doing if he will be up there, but if he's consistent and the men are menning, you never know.
We need like a men are menning countdown, or like count.
Just a count in the corner. We also have men are menning merch if you want to get it from our Redbubble shop.
Amazing transition.
The other thing I was thinking about looking at this, which is sort of true for all of the disciplines, but I feel like I noticed it the most in the men, is that there are so many skaters who are going to this competition that, on paper and from everything we've seen from them, have no chance of qualifying an Olympic spot. And, part of me thinks,
I love that they're being sent anyway.
Yeah, I love that, like, we've got skaters from Portugal and Ecuador and Ireland and like these skaters that are, off that I appreciate. And, in some part of me is like, I wish they could get to go to the Olympics, even though there are reasons there are limits and all of these things. But, because I was following the story of a couple of countries that, could have chosen to try to send someone to qualify, held domestic competitions, and then chose to not send anyone. I just thought it was an interesting thing that in these cases, whether it's the federation or the skater themselves that's like paying for them to go all the way to China to do this, it is kind of I don't know, there's something sort of bittersweet about the idea of like going and trying your hardest to make the spot, even if you know that there's very, very little chance you could possibly get it.
It's also just a great experience to be against all the other athletes and see, like, even in like if you're in practice with them, see what they're able to do, and if they're able to qualify a spot, then you can use that as like inspiration of that's what I kind of need to be doing myself to get to the same stage. Like I remember last time for the Olympics that Adam Hagara was a little 15-year-old before the age had changed, the age rules had changed. And I think that's like the first time I like properly paid attention to him. And I was like, oh, there's some potential there. Like his triple axel's not there yet, but it's getting there, and now it's like the most solid thing ever. And obviously he qualified a spot at Worlds, so he didn't even need to come to this point. But it's incredible to see the change in like 4 years' time.
Is your cat near the keyboard?
Yeah, she's like literally climbing on it. I'm trying to manage her. She's very upset because she's wet. She's like, give me attention, I'm wet.
Melissa asked the question. AIN are individually, so could take up 2 spots, right?
Yes, even though they are being listed as AIN, and like obviously other countries can only qualify 1 spot, as they are representing different countries in terms of being neutral athletes, they are both allowed to earn spots.
I mean, the men are manning, but how likely is that going to happen? We know
it's possible. I mean, like I said, I don't think Pozzano's scores are going to be what they were domestically, because he won't get the PCS. But he does have a quad, he has a triple axel, his scores fluctuate a lot. It's possible. It would be shocking if Russia did not get a spot.
Yeah, in my what do I want to have happen? I want Walter to have to come land a quad and get a spot, because that
We
would make
wish.
me very happy if that was the conclusion of his very long career chasing an Olympic opportunity. Do I think that's going to happen? No, but I'm just manifesting out into the universe that that's my sentimental hope for this competition.
Just like basing it on his course at the Robin Cousins Cup a few weeks ago, it's not happening. If Maurizio Zandron can pretend like he is skating in Great Britain instead of China, he has a shot. Because somehow he comes to like Tayside Trophy every year and like wins, and then he went to Robin Cousins Cup and won. He just apparently does really well at British competitions.
Maybe he'll have a great Europeans.
Yeah.
Should we move to women?
Yeah, we can move on to the women. There's a lot of them here as well. I was looking. We'll all assume Adelia Petrosayan is going to qualify a spot. From what I was researching, she puts a triple axel in her short program as of the fall competition she did last season. She puts a triple axel in the short and a 2 quads in the free, and maybe a triple axel as well. I'm trying to remember, but only a quad toe. She used to try a quad flip the season before and wasn't skating clean with it. So it seemed like she reduced it just to 2 quad toes. She had a 75% success rate with a triple axel and a 75% success rate with a quad last year. So make of that what.
Can we add the countries when we talk about people? Because as somebody who doesn't know all of the names, I'm constantly looking for them.
Russia. Adelia Petrosayan. She's on the list.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anyone definitely, Kevin. It's men, but they definitely have a shot. Who was the last Russian man that had a medal shot at the Olympics?
Kolyada?
Maybe. I mean, I think people maybe considered Odratyuk if he had been clean, but the nature of putting people out for the team event and not switching for the men, and then the men's competition being 2 days later, means the men don't do very well in the singular event. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's probably a medal contender. He has to get the spot first, obviously. But yeah, Safanova. I was looking at her domestic results, which have also been fairly good. I'd say around, on average, maybe just over 200, maybe about 208. She did attempt the quad loop twice. She did not land it. One was under, one was downgrade. So I don't see any way in hell that she's putting it in to this competition, because it would just tank her score in the free skate. There was a competition they did domestically in Belarus in August, and in both the short and free, her triple Lutz triple toe was a Q, I think. So maybe she's not in the best condition right now. I'm not sure. But she's definitely up there as somebody who has a shot. Obviously, other 2 people who are, we'll say, very likely are Luna Hendricks and Anastasia Gubanova. Obviously, Luna was missing virtually all last year due to injury, and hasn't competed yet this year, so we don't exactly know what kind of shape she's in, but she looks like she's in fairly good shape from Instagram videos that she's posted. And she will have the PCS scores. She is obviously a European champion and world medalist and all this stuff. So, you know, she's up there. Gubanova obviously had the shocking skate at Worlds and not making the free, so she has to come here. If she pretends it's Europeans, she'll be absolutely fine, because she always peaks at Europeans every year.
Yeah, that is kind of an interesting question. Like, what has training for her been like to try to have to peak this early when we don't usually see her skate skate that well this early? But I
feel like I remember Alexia Paganini had to do that last quad, in that she had to be like spot on ready for the qualifying competition. And that must be so stressful, just to have to peak in September and not like January, March.
I saw Johnny's comment about Josephine. Yes, I feel like that
we all wish.
If there's a fifth, that fifth spot that I have fingers crossed for her, I would love for her to get it. So the other skater that I am kind of curious about and looking toward here is Nikki Warris, who I feel like we saw coming back last year with very strong at Europeans and then not so strong after, and just I have no idea. I haven't seen her this season, but I would love to see, I think, her skate to where she has the potential to.
Yeah, I think she may have burnt herself out a bit coming back last year. Just I think when I looked at the list, she did like 12 competitions. It's like rein it in a bit. Obviously she was trying to get the world minimums and stuff, and I think she had an injury either at the back end of the season or in the summer. But was like I think I remember her like posting that she's like very focused on the qualifying competition. So I think she has a shot, obviously, if she's clean. It's going to be interesting to see Ruyang Zhang for China. I'm pretty sure this is her first senior eligible season, and she had a fairly good, Asian Open trophy. Obviously, like it's not Yizhu or Zhang Yian or the skaters who we are used to seeing from China. So maybe she might not have the PCS score, but if she has the technical, she definitely has a possibility of being up there. I think I have her average score over this season last is about 166. Whereas like Josephine's about 157. She can get into the 170s. She got about 154 at Lombardia this week. So yeah, I mean, we just have to hope it's a very generous judging panel for Josephine.
Thanks, Laura. Yeah, that's going to be rough.
That's what it was. I knew she had an injury. I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, Laura said Nikki had a knee fracture in the off season.
Yeah.
Oof.
Which is not fun. That sounds absolutely awful. Mia Risa Gomez had a very good Europeans and a disappointing Worlds. So it'll be interesting to see if she can replicate what she did at Europeans here. I think she had like about 161 score maybe there.
Have we seen Nargis Suleimanova from Azerbaijan this year?
No, not this season. I don't know how she's doing. Her scores from last season are very kind of wild. There was one competition where she had a 170 and every other one was in the 130s. So I'm like, it's extremely volatile scoring. I would probably put her somewhere in the middle of that, maybe in like the 150s.
So what scores are we looking at for the top?
For the top, I mean, Petrosayan's average score is about 248. Obviously, that's Russian domestic scoring. Bring that down, maybe. Safanova's is about 200. Gubanova's about 192. Luna's is hard to look at because she obviously only did one competition from this season and last season, which was a 179, but that would still qualify her, even though that's her Shanghai Trophy score, and she did very poorly there. If you look back at her last full competitive season, her average would be about 207. So if she's in the shape she was then, easy qualifying. Stefania Yakovleva is in her first senior season for Cyprus and put in a 177 at Robin Cousins Cup. Obviously, that's a small competition and scores can be a little bit wild, but she was, I think, about 40 points ahead of Marilina Kitromoulos, who was also from Cyprus and earned the spot instead of her. So if she can replicate what she did there, then she could be in with a shout.
Yeah. The reason I asked about Nargis was just because she lost by 0.01 at Worlds. So exactly. James said that.
She was so close.
It was that between
I
her
thought she was
and
robbed
Nita
as well.
It
sucks that like if the judges don't know you well enough, they don't look at what they actually show in the skate, and it drives me wild because there was no way that she should have been marked as low as she was.
So Naru Sazu just said it would be fun to see you guys judge old competitions like the 98 and 2002 Olympics.
We can always do that at some point.
Yes,
Thank you
I
for
think
the
like-
idea.
We might need
Now
better
that the
internet,
Grand
better
Prix-
technology.
now that the Grand Prix is about to begin, we will be like weekly on here, but if we have more
Yes,
time, we
so
should
we're
definitely
going to
do
be
that.
very, very busy this season. But that's an idea of like maybe next off season or something, because this is a very hectic season. I've been working on stuff all week.
But yes, great idea.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, we'd all love to see Tara Prasad qualify. Don't really think it's realistic. But you know, we'd love to see it.
I want to give a shout out while we're talking about this group of women to Jonquinn Isaacs, who I
Yes.
just really, really enjoyed watching at Lombardia. I don't think she's got a shot here, but I've been impressed with her improvements and just a really enjoyable skater to watch. So I'm hoping that we'll get to see her at more of the ISU championships in the future.
Yeah, she has such a joy of skating, like when she's on the ice. Like you can't, it's just infectious. You can't help but smile with her when you watch her.
Is it my internet? No. Is it Lois' internet?
Lois
Okay.
might be frozen.
Okay, that's too bad for us.
Hmm?
So let's wait for Lois to come back. I think we should probably also move on to pairs, I would say, is the next
Yeah.
one. Should we? Okay.
I was gonna say I
no.
have pairs I have pairs opinions. I don't know if I have pairs facts the same way Lois would, but I have pairs opinions.
We will
No,
hear
I
your
mean-
opinions and then we move on to Lois' facts.
Yeah, I mean, this is because this is a smaller field and it's a field we know a little bit more about. It's a bit easier to make some predictions here. But yes, Lois, kick us off with how would you
Facts.
tackle this field?
Oh,
You're on mute.
Ellie muted me and didn't bring me back. This is very interesting. I mean, Zhang Huang had a pretty massive score at Asian Open Trophy. I think they hit like a 190. Or was it close to that? I can't remember. And also Nagaoka Sumitomo Maraguchi had a fantastic score at Kinoshita last week. Huge improvements. I think they bettered their best by about 20 points. So they're definitely two to watch. I think Akpova Rakhmanin. Obviously, they've only had one competition representing Armenia so far. They had about a 174, I think, at John Nicks. But yeah, I mean, taking that as their only score that we have of, obviously it's been years since they competed otherwise, that is also a fairly competitive score. Velisi Badar just had a pretty good Lombardia as well. I think they hit like 170-ish.
I was impressed with how much they've improved.
Yeah.
So they were, I did not have them, on my radar for a possibility at this competition, and they kind of shot into
very
that
little
space for me.
competitive experience.
Yeah.
remind me again, how
it's
many
only-
pair spots are there?
3.
3, possibly 4 if the Uzbeks don't materialize, but 3 currently.
I know it's kind of brutal looking at this because there are so many skaters I'd love to see. I would not, based on the last couple of seasons, have put the Kovalevs back in that space. They do look like they're on a good trajectory right now, and that training with Bruno Massa has been helping them. I'm still not sure I'd put them in the likely category, but when they're on, they have, I would say, better PCS than a lot of the teams that are here. So they could sneak their way in if others make mistakes, especially.
I
We
was
have
just
lost Lois
missed
for
the
a
last
second,
like
but
30 seconds.
And
I was talking about
Um,
the Kovalevs, and I was saying that I don't think that
yes.
they have too much of a shot, but more than I would have given them before seeing them at the French Masters.
Yeah, they had a fairly good French Master. Obviously, they have a new coaching circumstance now. I'm not ruling them out. Because you never know how people are going to do on the day. So if they can keep up the kind of energy they had, especially in the short program, they've got a shot. I was so sad to see that Holochenko Darinsky did not do well at Lombardia. Like one of the worst It's a course they've had in a very long time. I definitely had them like as a fringe option, unless something drastic changes on the flight over to China. The hope is all but gone for them to qualify as well.
Yeah, I don't know what their training conditions have been like, but I believe it was their rink that got damaged recently in a bomb, that they trained in really tough conditions in Ukraine.
Yeah. It's a real shame because they're a team I enjoy a lot. It's very interesting what US figure skating are doing here, sending Audrey and Balash, because obviously they were beaten by several teams in John Nicks, although allegedly the way that the US figure skating decided this was at Champs Camp, and they did the best at Champs Camp, although obviously none of us have seen that because that's all behind closed doors. So what could have been a very likely third spot for US figure skating with potentially a different team becomes a fringe possibility for a spot, because I think there are several teams here who are technically stronger.
Yeah, they're an interesting one because I do believe that they have a lot of potential, but they still feel very early in the mix here, and they were beaten by some other teams that I don't necessarily see as being more consistent than they are, but teams that might have a higher ceiling than they do. So
yeah, like Chen Hao beat them at John Nicks, and Chen Hao have obviously had a lot of inconsistencies in the last few years with injuries, not necessarily the best programs. I mean, but they seem prepared. They seem quite prepared from the scores at John Nicks. I think McBeef Parkman have not necessarily the best PCS, but a more solid technical foundation. They can be a little bit inconsistent, but I think they were more likely to qualify as well.
Yeah, I am hoping for the US third spot just because I think the fight for the US spots could be so interesting. And so it will still be interesting with two, but I think that those might, be a little easier to lock down. But if there's a third in the mix, between the fact that there are a whole bunch of teams where we don't really know what their citizenship status is or if they'll be able to get it in time.
Or health status as well, because some of them, I mean, Danny and Ellie have withdrawn from these two competitions now, as we've heard, due to injury or recovery from injury. I don't believe there's any shot of Elisa Efimova getting citizenship. I know they say they're working on it, but that generally takes about 5 or 6 years, and she's been in America like a year and a half, like 2 years. So I don't see how that's even on the radar.
If they considered marriage.
Even that's then, tough, but unless they had a secret marriage a while ago. But
Too bad.
Even then. Again, with McBeef Parkman, he allegedly he's working on it, but I don't imagine that he's anywhere close. So yeah, there's a lot of American teams vying for the spots because some of them can't take them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that I necessarily would think they would be in the mix, but again, like Williams Lua, he's Australian. He's nowhere near close to getting citizenship, I don't think. So.
Do we have more opinions about pairs, or do we move on to ice dance?
I mean, I think Gunnarsdottir Piazza did very well this week, but I don't think they're in the mix unless some very dramatic things happen. I was curious to see that he said Iceland are very good about citizenship, and I've never seen that.
Well, we've seen so few Icelandic skaters that we haven't had a lot of experience.
Exactly, like nobody's like switched them or anything.
Not usually the easiest.
Yeah, I mean, from what my research told me is that it's like residency of 7 years or 3 with marriage, and obviously they don't train in Iceland. They train in Italy, so
they do spend a significant amount of time going to Iceland, though, and have a coach that's like one of their coaches is based in Iceland, so that may be a piece of it if they're trying to spend a certain amount of time there. But again, it does seem like a tough stretch for them.
Most of
listeners
have we ever seen
asking-
the North Koreans, this pair specifically? Yes, they've competed, I think, 3 or 4 times. I think 3 last season, 1 this season. And their scores have gone up from where they started. Let's check where I'm at with them.
Lois is doing the research.
Yeah, I would not say this is my averages. Yeah, my averages has them at 151. So, I mean, I'd say there were definitely teams who are far more likely to qualify than them, but let's not rule them out if some dramatic stuff happens, but I wouldn't say it was likely for them to qualify as well. Obviously, Tae Okryom has been to the Olympics before with a previous partner. I think it was 2018. But this is still a fairly new partnership. I don't think they're ready.
And that's pairs?
Yeah.
Okay. So because we are peaking a bit with like 55 viewers right now, I just want to explain that we are currently talking about who is most likely to get a spot, an Olympic spot. And we are at ice dance.
This is, I mean, I think we're all assuming that Reed and Bulavicius are going to win this competition because usually they would have been very much in the top 10 at Worlds. They had a fall. They just fell outside qualification. They just beat Fit Gibson in the free dance at Valera Cup like a week ago. So, like, they've got this.
Can I ask what the question marks are?
Because Lombardia just happened, and Ukraine are using Lombardia as a decider. They did have Larson Kapran on the list. Pinchuk, Pogorilov just beat them. Neither team skated particularly well. I don't know if they're going to go hard and fast with the switching things based on that, or if they'll just keep it the same. But yeah, so there could be some last minute changes for Ukraine.
Johnny has
and we have 4 with a question with a asterisk as the
yes, because Finland
spots.
are unlikely to get to take their second spot, although it's not confirmed yet. So it's 4 with a potential of 5. Harris Chan look fairly prepared. They obviously had a good Valera Cup as well. Lots of teams getting out there early, showing their programs. I assume citizenship is fine. I don't think we've had confirmation that Jason has his yet, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem from what we've heard. So yeah, they made the free, didn't they? But they didn't qualify the spot because there was 20 teams and 19 spots. Team 20 was February Air, and because there were 2 Canadian teams, as long as they made the free, they get the 3 Canadian spots. So it was very unfortunate for Harris Chan in that they finished ahead of a team who, if that team weren't there, they would have qualified. So yeah.
Do we have any sense on where Wang and Liu are going to be technically at this point?
I mean, from what I've heard, I didn't watch their skates because I don't want to. From what I've heard, they don't look good. And yet they were pulling something like 191, 200 scores at domestic competitions this summer. And that's not going to happen internationally. I think the last time they competed internationally a couple of years ago, they were pulling... They were, on average, they were pulling about 169. So they could be in the mix if that's the level they're being scored at, but they are not getting 191, 200. Yeah, Laura watched them.
And just to be clear, we're...
Laura watched them and says the scores were ridiculous. And yes, I think even without watching them, I could tell that.
And the reason we're not watching them, to be clear, is because Liu has had a bunch of allegations made against him in the past, and seems to be related to why they were gone from competition for a little while. And while we don't have confirmation about any of that, because it's really hard to get any confirmation about anything from Chinese figure skating, we definitely have question marks there.
Yes. And even besides those allegations that he had, there were also allegations of embezzling funds from the Federation or something. Obviously, no confirmation there either, but that was also an allegation that was made and going around. So it's surprising to me that then the Chinese Federation would be backing them again. Yeah, I guess it's just desperation of wanting to qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Though I mean, I think you should have just sent Ren Zheng instead. But yeah.
I have my fingers crossed for the Japanese spot. I am not a huge fan of Utana Masai's programs this year, unfortunately. I really loved their programs last year, and so far anyway, I'm not a huge fan of these, but I am a huge fan of them, and would love to see them get that spot.
Yeah, I think I'd penciled them in like over the summer as a team that would definitely up there as a potential to qualify, but their scores so far this season have been underwhelming, disappointing.
Yeah.
So I'm not massively hopeful for them at this point, which is a shame because I think they're such a fun team to watch. Yeah. Okay, and now I know who I put everyone's scores down for dance and pairs down in code, and I'm like, which one am I putting? Which one am I trying to figure out who this is? And yeah, I was like, who the hell are IS? And it's Ignite versus Emco, who just had a fairly good Lombardia, and not as good of scores as they got some competitions last season. I do think they are potentially in the mix if they get favorable judging or the crowd like them or something. I think maybe Val Kazimov are a good potential to get that second spot for Spain. Strong to start the season by winning the competition in Dordrecht, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong. But
What about...
they're kind of...
Oh, good.
No, carry on.
I was going to move to a different team, but you were saying more about Val and Kazimov.
No, I mean they had I think they won the university games. So yeah, they had fairly strong season.
I was wondering about the Swedish team, Milla and Nikolai, where they are strong on paper, but I think he doesn't have the citizen, or she doesn't have the citizenship. Would you? Well, I think we have a frozen Lois, but I feel like they're on one of the teams that are kind of on that bubble. And then the other one that I'm super curious about is where Maria Kazakova and Vladislav Kaczynski are gonna place in here. I think they weren't high enough in Lombardia to make it seem like they're too likely, but I am a big fan of her. I would love to see, I'm going to be really curious to see how this team is going to evolve from here with the Georgians.
I wondered who you were talking about. I wondered if it was them. Yeah, I think it's too early in their partnership for them to be making a big splash here in China. I'm so happy to see Maria back on the scene, though. We briefly mentioned the Swedish team before I disappeared. They are very much up there. I think I have their average score down as about 168. The Spanish team is 170. Hungarians is 173. Paris China is 175. So like they're all around the same ballpark figure.
Yeah.
And I was also asking about citizenship. What is the...
For the Swedish team.
For the Swedish team, she hasn't got it yet. I know they're working on it. And I think they've kind of implied that it's progressing, but I don't know if they're going to get there in time. But I think they're getting there with it. It's obviously a little bit quicker because she is from like another Scandinavian country. which is a bit easy.
What about Caroline and Shane?
I'm so curious on why they're even coming to this competition, because I don't see how she has a shot in hell of getting citizenship. I think, like other teams, they're on the bubble. I think they often make mistakes. So anything like that happens, they're kind of out of the running. But yeah, I'm interested to see how they do, and I'm interested on what's going on with their citizenship process, because I don't see how they're getting it.
What do you think about the choice the Italians made to send Paolino and Tuba?
I mean, they had a competition decider for a reason. I don't think any of us expected Paolino Tuba to win that competition, but they did, and then they withdrew from Lombardia, which is very interesting because they were very much behind Manny Roethlisberger in the rhythm dance, and now we don't know what the final score would have looked like. I don't know if there's an issue, whether they're ill or whether maybe they have like an early flight and just wanted to do the rhythm dance and then go, which would be very odd.
Or they didn't want to lose right before.
They didn't want to lose. They didn't want to lose face against the other team.
I mean, sorry, I'm just like throwing completely unfounded conspiracy theories into the story here.
Probably not the reason, but it's very curious. I also wonder about, we didn't discuss this when we were on the women, but Yulia Lovrenchik did the short program and withdrew from the free as well at Lombardia, and she's supposed to be going to Chinese Nebelhorn as well. So I'm wondering how she's doing and what the reason for that was. But yeah, I mean, they had to. I guess they kind of had to make the choice off of the competition. They let all the Italian teams come, and that's what the outcome was. So I get why they went with it. Do I think it's necessarily the best choice for an international judging panel for this competition? Probably not. But they are a team I really enjoy. I mean, they had a strong junior season until I think Tuba broke his leg towards the end of their final junior season, which was their first like proper competitive year. So they missed out on kind of that same trajectory that Tali Lafonara got from last year. And I'm interested what's going on with them as well, because obviously they were scheduled to compete at Lombardia and didn't come. And it was a fairly late withdrawal for that as well. So I don't think it's likely that Italy are going to pick up a second spot now, which is a shame. I think it would have been hit and miss otherwise, even if it had been Tali Lafonara or Manny Roethlisberger. But I think it was more likely with either of those two teams. Yeah, it's interesting.
Is there anyone else you think is a dark horse possibility for one of these spots? It's harder in ice dance to be a dark horse.
It's harder in ice dance to be a dark horse, yeah. I mean, probably not, other than the ones we've mentioned. At this point, I think my dark horse is probably like Yoshida Morita.
Yeah.
Because I love them, but I'm not sure they have the scores on their side. It's going to be interesting to see how Ichilov, Mosovitsky are scored here, because I think they've just had Lake Placid. They've only just got together. Their scores have not been bad, but I don't. If Tichenko Kulikov hadn't split, they would have been the very obvious choice to send here instead, with a lot more experience and higher scores. And obviously, they randomly split 5 days after they competed. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good experience for them as a team, but I don't think they've got a shot here.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
probably.
We still have
we're
some
going to
time
be
left.
able to watch this on the ISU channel, which makes a nice change from all of the challengers that were either impossible to watch or having to pay a lot of money for streams. So I feel like saying thank you, ISU, for actually streaming the competition.
Yes, well, you should, considering it's such an important competition in the markup of the season. And I'm glad they're getting like commentators who kind of know what they're talking about to like.
I was trying to figure out how to.
Oh my god! Another Ice House news. Tag Donahue has
jumped the shark.
Jumped the shark. Wow, that's what that
in
means.
Emojis. Thank you, Jenny.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
I kept trying to figure out how to mention the woke North Americans.
Jumped the shark that is Laranaki Gutman's camel spin.
Oh my god.
How do we... So, I mean, most people who are online will know what was going on. And if you don't, I think part of it is still on his Instagram. So check out his Instagram.
I'm sure it's constantly on his Instagram.
I will say that the only thing that has gotten me through the like horrible week of American politics that this was watching people mock Zach Donahue's crashing out about this week in American politics, because he managed to say that skating is woke and left-leaning, which is somewhat laughable.
Do you know the sport you did for like 30 years, dude?
Yeah, maybe only in Montreal. Anyway, good job, skating internet. Everyone has been making great jokes this week. It's been keeping me sane.
So that's all I know. That's all I know from this week. Like, that's all I saw on my timeline.
That's good. I was trying to explain this to a non-skating related friend that I am extremely online, but only in the way that I get my versions of like influencers and online content only filtered through figure skating. So, which is a much better way to receive political news, I have to say. Like, either like read it from like a straight news site where you're getting actual facts, or get it filtered to you through skating Twitter, because actual political Twitter is a horrible thing. But if you can just sit yourself in the nice little bubble, and you can worry about, if Zach Donahue was left-leaning a little bit more, maybe he wouldn't have slipped off of his twizzles. It's a much better way to learn about things.
And yeah,
I did see that.
Shout out to Caitlin Weaver.
Yes, shout out to Caitlin Weaver and her donation to the Trophy Project on behalf of all the woke. I've said woke lefties.
And also for the comments on the post and
all the comments are gone now.
Oh, well, I'm sure there are screenshots online. You can
probably
look up. And Brett Stromer and all of the people who were
shout out to Brett Stromer.
Yeah,
I know he's removed himself from the situation now, but
yes, but like, more power to you, people who are attempting to like actually speak out in intelligent and like compassionate ways. I am also very pleased about that. I don't mean to only be, going with the snark, but yeah.
So yeah, any comments about Lombardia? I mean, it just ended.
To watch. I have not seen everything. I did see. I think Lara's short program was one of my favorite moments of that part of the competition. I was looking forward to seeing her draws. I haven't seen it yet, but I thought her short was also fantastic. And I think she was robbed at this competition. I know I didn't see everyone, but I think she was robbed.
I really like both of her programs, and they're different from each other. And I think it's really interesting seeing her working with different choreographers and sort of trying to expand and push herself, which she always does. But I have so much respect for the way she approaches different concepts and her movement quality and all of that. And her jumps have gotten so much more powerful over the last couple of years. And just seeing her at this competition, I was really impressed. I do think she should have gotten higher PCS in the short than Sarah Everhart, for sure. And that did a little bit annoy me. But I think
she definitely should have got about 70, and I was stunned that she didn't.
And no shade to Sarah, who did really well here and who I actually really enjoyed her programs and I enjoy her skating. It's just there is such a difference in skating skills and commitment to the performance that it's hard to justify that in my mind.
And what use is it being an Italian and an Italian competition if you don't get a little bit of home cooking?
I was proud of that for the pairs. I have not watched any of the pairs yet, other than seeing the short program from Sarah and Nicolo, which was really, really good.
Really
I
good.
was super impressed. Their throw looked just beautiful. I think it's going to be a great program for them. And I think they scored 78. So, like, all right. That was sort of like, lay
it's
that
Italy,
down.
but
Yeah.
but it's a good score. I do have slightly the same criticism I did last year in that they need to interact slightly more, but it's a lot better than it started at last year. So there's less far to go until they get it.
I did watch, so the only thing I've seen all of was yesterday. I watched the women's free skate. So I do have opinions about it. I think my opinion about Alyssa's programs this year are that I liked last year's better, which is easy enough to say because we got to see last year's at the end of the year. I do really like the short. I don't like the dress. I don't like the sleeves of the dress.
Agreed.
I wish she didn't have caps on her shoulders. I was finding it
I think she said the
distracting.
dress is going to change though.
Okay. I hope
But
so.
I haven't watched barely anything of the free. I did see Alyssa's. I will reserve most of my judgment until her boot issue is sorted and she is at full conditioning, but I didn't like it that much.
I don't think the music choices go together.
I don't think they suit her either.
Yeah. This feels like a program that should not be the Olympic program. And I don't mean that because it's Lady Gaga. I mean that because it feels like it's a program that's pushing her to try to go in another new direction, which Donna Summer did as well. And she grew into that a lot. And so I have some hope. But having a program you have to grow into for the Olympic season feels like a stretch. I am hoping that it will improve. There were parts of it that felt kind of empty to me and like it really needed to be just sharpened up, filled out, committed to. And again, boot issues, early season. So like I'm not catastrophizing here. This could still improve a lot. I will say I loved the final pose where she's looking over her shoulder, like leaning back, like upside down, looking at the judges was epic. So was very happy about that part. But the rest of it, I'm a little.
A very kind of like alternative. I don't want to say edgy because it feels like the wrong adjective for her, but she's just a very interesting person, and it feels like this is edgy in the wrong way that doesn't fully show off like her personality.
She's
more Billie Eilish than Lady Gaga.
She gives me very much, even the costume and the makeup and everything was giving me just very like early 2000s emo vibes, not Lady Gaga. And basically, I saw somebody online said that they wish they could switch Alyssa and Amber's free skates, and I kind of agree because I think that actually a Lady Gaga program for Amber could be great. And I like an upbeat program for Alyssa. I'm not, I'm not saying that she shouldn't do this. I just think, it doesn't feel comfortable yet. And so I hope it gets there because I really want her to be able to go into this. I want her to be able to go into this Olympics with that sense of like so much just commitment and comfort in the material that she's doing and just having all of that. And so if she's enjoying it in the program, we just didn't see it because of the boot issues, like, I don't want to second guess that, but I didn't see it yet.
Yeah. Agreed.
Sarah, I appreciate going with the Poor Things program and trying some really interesting different movements. And like, I actually enjoyed that program quite a bit. I was having feelings about Sarah's edge quality and the way things were getting scored. So that was somewhat distracting for me. And so I felt like I was not I was thinking about Sarah in comparison to others more so than thinking about her like for herself. But I appreciate that she's trying to figure out things that work for her, kind of like she's a little bit of a jerky movement style. So like lean into that instead of trying to smooth it out.
Laura, I also trust in Massimo Scali. I also was thinking I would wonder what this program would look like if it had been choreographed by Roheen Ward. Just to see what it would have looked like differently. But I do love Massimo's choreography in general.
I was really impressed with Rion here. I thought she really deserved the win. I don't know if I'm as like on the train for her with the Olympic spots as some people are, but I did think that Rion Sumiyoshi did a great competition. And I was disappointed for Renu because I felt like the programs that she has this year, and she didn't skate her best, so it's hard to see, but like it felt like it wasn't quite capturing the magic of how last year's free skate felt, that they were sort of chasing that feeling and not quite getting there. So I'm hoping to be proved wrong with that as the season goes on, but I really love her and I would love to see, her have material and programs that feel like it's bringing that really out of her.
Yeah. Rion has like shocking consistency in international competition. Like I think every time she went out last year it was over 200. Again here, she seems to just like thrive in performing in Europe. Like she just comes here with like, yeah, just throw down a great skate, win a competition.
The toe did not look close to me, the quad
No.
toe that she had in the free skate, so I don't know, but more power to her for putting it out there as a second jump.
But yeah.
Johnny gave some men. Well, that sounds weird. But I know Anna didn't see any. But Louis, did you see
I
any
have
of
seen
them?
I did see Ilya's free.
So Johnny said, man, Yuma's free skate was lovely. Ilya was Ilya. Nikolai was very solid. Adam's jumps are a mess.
Yeah, I felt bad for Adam. Because this is the second competition now. I mean, we obviously didn't see how he skated at French Masters because they cut the cameras. But we saw the protocol. It's kind of two competitions in a row now where it's been a struggle. The opinion of his short program costume seems overwhelmingly negative.
Is it the one that
the spray paint on abs?
It looks like spray paint abs. Yeah, even Ellie's seen it.
I told you I get the memes.
She gets the memes and nothing else. In general, I'm not a fan of voiceovers. I'm still not a fan of them in Ilya's free skate. I think if you're gonna do self voiceover in a program, you should have something very profound and important of a message to say, and it just kind of felt there for the sake of being there.
I'm going to reserve my commentary because I've only seen clips of Ilya and Yuma so far, and I'd like to watch the whole programs before I, Sarah's is reading about Yuma's short program
I'd like the
with
panic
because
I didn't get to watch everything live, but the panic, I was like, what happened to Yuma? And then he came out and got a 95. I'm like, well, it can't be that bad. No, he just like got cramp before his axle and everyone was like, what's going on? And he's just like still pulls out a triple axle even though he got cramp.
Also, Sarah is talking about our Discord chat that you can access through our Patreon for as little as £1 per month.
Or whatever currency you work in.
And then, I'm so sorry, Nara Zazu is saying Ilya has charisma in the stratosphere that just can't teach. You just can't teach. Oh my God, I'm so bad at reading today.
It's true. He is 100% committed to what he's doing. And even when I don't like what he's doing sometimes, I do appreciate that his like full commitment to it.
I mean, I also I think what I appreciate most about Ilya is not only that he is completely fearless about competition. He'll sit there and just watch everyone else skate. It doesn't bother him at all. And then he cheers on everyone else as well. It's great to see from a competitor.
And I really appreciate how much of a good sport he is toward his competitors. And he was, wishing good luck to people. He was, he and his dad were helping Cow out with something at one point.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that the way Ilya, approaches his competitors with that kind of respect is a great thing to see, and that they reciprocate it. I think that there's a good spirit there, and I also saw the cow was also watching from the side of the ring, so I was like, maybe he's encouraging others to take on this as a challenge. Though Lombardia, really, there is no place to see except the side of the ring, so it's like, it was very funny as I was watching the bits of the stream, like seeing, I know that person, because it's just like, the skaters that train there are just standing around watching from the sides of the rink, and it was kind of that funny feeling of like, there is no place to hide because everyone's right there, and the whole complex is pretty small.
Also, I love how Johnny is saying that I assume Yuma's Yuma's costume is looking like those heat
Adam's, I
print
think.
T-shirts that were trendy in
Adam's.
1992. And
Adam's
I'm like,
Viewers.
I think all of us were too young, but sure.
I can pick. I know what you're talking about, though. I can picture the it's like the gradient of how it looks. So yeah.
And then also Kao's shock program was awesome. The free skate, not so much classic Kao.
I didn't realize how much I was on the Cow fan club pushing him for an Olympic spot this year until everything was going terribly toward the end of last year and the beginning of this year. And I realized how disappointed I was. So I'm rooting for him to like find the gear, he's been injured, which is tough to see him compete through, but like
Japanese man is not injured at this point. There's going to be a Patreon post like coming out soon, and I think I wrote on it like the Japanese men's team are being held together with tape and Olympic dreams.
Yes. Speaking of Japanese men, we just saw that Haru Kakiuchi has gotten the host spot for NHK, which I personally am really excited about because I enjoy his skating a lot. He has like a really nice refinement in his upper body that is different from how, like, he just has a different way of carrying himself when he skates than we see from a lot of the other Japanese men. I was surprised that he got the spot because he hasn't necessarily had the strongest competitions, but I'll be happy to see him there.
I think if Kinoshita was the decider, it was between him and Shunsuke, and he beat Shunsuke.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Haven't seen Nozomu this season, so I guess he's not in the running for it. So yeah, I think that's probably why he got it.
Well, no. I will say I have not seen it. Like I said, have not seen the rest of Lombardia. I would love to have opinions about things that I haven't seen, but I'm trying to, not just crowdsource my opinions from Twitter and our Discord, so we can have more protocols as we go.
I mean, that's what I'm doing, and I'm throwing it in here, and hopefully somebody will be able to put it into context.
But yeah, things are ramping up now. I mean, we've got the Olympic qualifying competition, and then both Nebelhorn and Nepala are both coming up. There's so much going on. It's mad. Before you know it, we'll be at the Grand Prix, and we need to figure out guests for those streams.
Yeah, let us know if there were people that you liked from last year, or you have ideas of who you'd like us to bring on for live stream guests. We're going to start scheduling those. And
keeping in mind, those who have been guests are the ones that are replying to us. We will try to get anybody else, but
yes,
it's becoming hard enough right now to do the A to Z's. That we're doing that series. It's getting hard enough to get people to respond for those.
Yeah, and sometimes we know that sometimes skaters watch these live streams after the fact, and if you would like to be a guest or do an A to Z, you can always tell us that, and
please reach out to
consider
us.
You.
Also, I'm very excited at how well the A to Zs are doing because we are getting a lot of feedback, and I feel like it's very positive, and everybody's so excited to see the skaters from a different angle. So it's very nice to get that feedback. And also, I want to say thank you on the feedback because we had to set up quite a lot of things recently, which cost a lot of money. So we asked on Twitter, as always, like if you want to join the Patreon or give us some coffee or whatever. And the feedback has been very nice and very heartwarming. And just thank you. And I want to shout out Adam Reisinger, especially because he is a producer tier on our Patreon. And overall, he has been extremely supportive and also reposting everywhere on Instagram, on Twitter. And it just, thank you so much, because that has been amazing support and he's very kind. And in our Discord chat, which you can also join. You don't have to pay £10 per month. I mean, it would be great if you do that. I'm all for that. You don't have to do that. You can join for as little as £1, like I mentioned, or whatever it is in your currency. And we have different tiers: junior, novice, junior, senior, and then producer tier.
We
and I
keep
think
trying to
all
come
of-
up with more content to give you all on there. But there's so much to do at all times. It's hard to get
But
things.
early
Hard
access
to
to
get things arranged.
articles. We're thinking about some sort of news podcast ideas that might be a good fit for a Patreon, and so and trying to be creative heading into the Olympics as well, if there's some things we might be cooking up in that regard. So trying to
Also, I was going to say, I'll also mention with YouTube that we are on now, you can do a super thanks or a super chat to donate to us that way. If you don't want to do it via Ko-fi or the Patreon, it's also possible to do it through the YouTube.
Yes, and then we have a very exciting season ahead. We are going to the Olympics for the first time. When we started this in 2019. Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We didn't think this would be possible. So this is very exciting for us. We also are going to Europeans. So there's a lot of content ahead of us. We took a nice 2 months break, but now we are back. And of course, we still uploaded articles. If you haven't seen articles, those articles, very important articles, read them.
I was going to say, you took a break. I went on an obsessive deep dive into everything about the Latvian figure skating world and federation and all of the various shenanigans that are happening in that little corner of the skating world. But I really appreciate the support and encouragement that people have had for, this attempt for us to try to do some very hard, serious journalism, but that's things that we think are important.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots to do, a lot of things for you guys, hopefully. And did I forget anything? No.
I think we covered everything.
Okay, see you again here next week or like in 10 days, because we want to do a recap of the Chinese Nebelhorn. Already forgot the real title again. And yeah, you will see us here more often now. Unfortunately, we can't do a fixed date, because I remember somebody asking about that. We can't do that really, because we have to navigate around time zones, and also,
and then especially when it comes to the Grand Prix, we have to navigate around the guests as well.
And people are traveling back and forth, so we do our best to announce them early so you can make some time. But you can always go back and rewatch them once they're done. And if you joined this one late, I think it's so worth it to go back and hear Lois do her little presentation. So you are very well prepared to go into the next competition. Thank you so much for all the kind words. Oh my God. Words. And see you soon. Oh my God. This is all
we have
Sarah's
fancy
doing.
things
There's a
now.
banner now
Yeah,
on the...
Sarah's fiddling with things behind the scenes.
Remember to like and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.
The banner I didn't expect.